Hello and welcome to the center of your entertainment galaxy. This is your GM in the Great Barrier. We are here today with Star Trek Adventures Aegis, Episode 3 by Guile or by Might, Part 2. So, making a quick programming note, as we did in the live stream, I would like to welcome back Cheesy, our a player we first introduced to this campaign with the Project Panic series. He was Ensign Tavashi Chikaris. He also plays Traven Lex in our Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword game. So we're pleased to have you along on this long road, as we're getting from there to here. There being the mystery. Let's see. The GM loses his train of thought and remembers to cut this out early. Yes. Okay, let's get into today's session, then, with a quick recap. So, when last we left off, the Aegis had arrived on the edge of an asteroid field. The reason that you had made this stop on your way, on your present course to the Arachnid Nebula, was that there had been a census sweep being conducted. Lieutenant Al Melnyuk had found that there was a field with unique properties due to a radioactive anomaly. Those properties of the metals in the field basically would give you some very valuable materials that as you go out on a long-range expedition, a mission that could easily last 2-3 years, even longer perhaps if you find ways to do so, this could be something mission-critical to you in the future. So, you decided to make a stop and dispatched a shuttle pod with Commander Shira leading the initial mission there. Alongside them, the away team also included Lieutenant Melnyuk. He brought along Xantar, the one of the ship's medical officers from the Interspecies Medical Exchange. You also had Chief Justice piloting the shuttle pod, and some of your supporting characters, the engineer specialist Layton, and I'm actually trying to remember who else came along.
Fernier.
Yes, Chief Fernier, the ship's quartermaster. So, your crew has had successfully navigated into the field and arrived in a shuttle pod. Where quick shot back here. You had landed in a cavernous area of the asteroid and started extracting samples of the objects, of the metals, but you found there might be something moving in here, something that might be some sort of cosmozoa, a naturally spacefaring creature. You were uncertain as what to do about that, but you also discovered an additional life sign, specifically a Nausicaan in a spacesuit who pretty quickly made himself aggressive. After a quick struggle with Lieutenant Commander Shira, that is, you escaped in the shuttle pod, and you have been running out to escape the asteroid field. But as you have found, there are quite a few. The field is not so uninhabited as you would have liked. So, let us pick up with. Let's actually pick up just we'll say, some minutes earlier here. Particularly on the relatively confined command space of a smaller craft. It is relatively quiet, the crew tending to its routine activities, keeping the radar in fit shape. And you are just coming on duty at this point, Remora. As you step through, give us a little description of the individual there.
Remora's not your typical Suliban. Most are medium stature, things like that. Remora is very heavily built. He's about 6 foot tall. His muscles are very lean and look like he works on them every single day. He has a very stern face. It doesn't look like he's had much happiness in his recent life. He wears normal garb that most of the other pirates wear, the standard maroon shirt, but he has a white jacket over the maroon shirt.
Okay.
But other than that, he looks like your typical Suliban.
Yep. The sort of coral encrusted texturing to the skin and the general green sort of tone to it. As you're coming on shift, you see some of the Nausicaans that have crashed on the particular vessel on this most recent patroller around. But you see a couple familiar faces. One near the relatively cordoned off communications console, or secondary comms console, that is, comes up. Kesh turns his face to you. Amora. Another day, another credit.
You know, I thought I'd get tired of hearing that. But when the credits keep coming in, you just can't. Anything new?
Nothing that I have yet, nothing I've yet heard. We're still rounding the section near the anomaly. I must say though, I hear that the next degree of imports is coming in. Supposedly, some smuggled Andorian ales will be making it in that I had on back order for a time. Don't suppose you'd care to indulge later?
We'll see how this shift goes. But since we haven't really been doing much the past week, I've been feeling more like a trader than a pirate, so I might as well drink like one, shouldn't I?
He just nods and, leaning over the railing, coming up from his seat. Do you really need an occasion to drink well there? Plenty of times to celebrate, plenty of reasons just to enjoy your life, enjoy fine drink, fine food. Make yourself feel alive.
I'm more of a drink to forget kind of guy. But can't really drink all the time when I'm backseat driver.
The Andorian, whom you know as Racco, just waves a hand at you as he groans. Always so somber, such a pessimist. You know, that's not a survival trait there, Remora. I figured, you might not be one of those Kabbalists, but you Suliban should value that. Isn't that your whole deal?
Wasn't always, but thank you for reminding me that I have to survive every day because of stupid people.
I mean, I think they'd say otherwise. They'd say they're pretty smart themselves, but then getting themselves apparently blasted around the galaxy, so who's to say otherwise?
Can you believe it? They devoted their whole lives, their whole belief system, gained extraordinary abilities. Turns out, it didn't help them in the least bit. I'm alive, and most of them are dead. I would have never taken that deal. You never trust somebody that's not your own race. Not instantly.
The door opens behind you, and you won't be alive for long if you stand in my way.
Sorry, sir.
I received message on personal comms. Everyone to your primary stations. Kesh just looks to you and says, "Perhaps we may have reason to drink later anyway."
Life always finds a way, doesn't it? At least now we're gonna make a fun credit.
He just nods as he sets to his work, feeding you information from navigation, and setting to work here as all of you begin to are diverted for new after you've received some new orders. As you are acknowledging that, we cut back to the shuttle pod, which is presently facing down a Nausicaan raider. It has quickly acquired target lock after you emerged from the cavern that you had been hiding in. And when we had last left off, your shuttle pod had attempted to evade. There was a roll-off that was staged here. I'm going to ask just because we are... Oh, wait. No, I remember now. You, based on what had happened, the momentum pool was left where it was there. I will update it for the stream in a moment once we have resolved this. So,
Yep.
your shuttle pod banks hard to starboard as the raider opens fire at near point-blank range. Thanks to Chief Justice's work, the blue beam that lances out fails to make contact, finding any purchase against your hull. Firing the impulse thrusters as quickly as he can, he zooms away from the field, but Shira, from your vantage point on the co-pilot seat, you find that the raider is reacquiring target, and it is angling to pull in basically directly to your 6 o'clock, where it can gain an excellent vantage point. As it gives chase and prepares to bring its disruptors to bear, there seems little hope that you would be able to shake free when the sensors show a third metallic object rocketing in and cutting through. You realize quickly from the IFF that it is a probe from the Aegis, one that the captain had launched the last time to help with communications and sensors. In this case, the captain has made it an improvised torpedo, one that rams the vessel and collides midship. It explodes in a small burst of energy, but it simply wasn't equipped to do that much damage. So while it will not affect... Yep, it will not affect their shields, but it does create an advantage, disrupting a power junction or sensor node that, as such, allows you to escape immediate target lock. So you are able to zoom away from this ambush.
Get us back to the ship as quickly as possible, Justice.
Don't need to give that order to me twice, Captain, he says. I think at this point everybody is still secure in EV suits, although Lieutenant Melnyuk is presently looking to remove hers. Oh, just to make sure that I have the right screen up. Let's see. So, this was the ambush here that you had very narrowly escaped, but the pod has managed to break away from that and is zooming through the field now. As Justice pilots through, he hasn't bothered anything with the helmet. Melnyuk, however, looks like she's looking to remove her helmet at this point. Oh. Blasted contraption. For the rest of you, would any of you be looking to do anything in particular at the moment? Most of you are not like at a console where you can help, so it's basically whatever sort of fidgeting you.
Resisting the urge to throw up, probably.
Yep.
What was that?
You don't want to throw up. You'd have to decontaminate your entire
Exactly.
suit then.
Don't make us roll.
Okay, your wish is granted. You do not have to make this next roll here. Except for, well, save, I suppose, for one... well, one person does need to make a roll, as I spend 2 threat to... Whoop.
Oh no.
I spend 2 threat in order to create a narrative circumstance. And
I hate circumstance.
Goddamn
Yeah.
circumstance.
they're just the worst.
He's not invited to my birthday.
So round. Wait.
You're thinking of circumference.
There we go. I hate him.
So,
His more rotund older brother.
for the person that is having to make a roll here, this will be difficulty 3. It is also, or rather, difficulty 4. It is also assisted here, which I will take care of for you. Would you like to buy any additional dice there?
No, but I do have a question. For the power loss momentum spend, do I have to spend it before or after the roll?
I believe that is after the roll.
Okay. Awesome. What am I rolling?
I have just sent you via Discord the information you need. Okay, and that is 2 successes, which is not quite enough on its own. Let's see if this will help you here. And
No.
Ooh.
Although
Well,
it does
that
roll
is a
a 12 rather than... Yeah.
here, let
It's been
me
weird.
let me fix
Still
that
fails,
sheet
but-
here. No, it still thinks that that's a critical failure. Work out the
Yeah,
bugs
just-
here. Try that
Yeah.
one
Well,
more.
it's a 0 success
Yep.
anyway, so...
Yeah.
Did
No,
we-
I was more at this point. I was rolling just to help it succeed. Or rather,
Okay,
to
so
not
there
to
we
we-
help
go.
it succeed.
13 finally not.
So the
Yeah.
GM is really trying to hit us.
So we failed the check, right?
Yes, you did score
I-
1 critical success, but you needed 4 in order to succeed.
I turned to the captain. I said, "Don't worry, Captain. I always have a backup plan, and I'm going to use my backup plan talent to give you an additional threat, GM. Since I
Very-
failed to check."
Very good. All right.
Oh, shit. Okay. Backup plan versus backup plan. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yep. So, yeah. The moment that, like in the moments here where, concurrently on the other raider, something that Remora is trying to resolve things, you find further bursts of blue cutting just in front of the shuttle pod here as another ship is beginning to weave to and fro in the asteroid field. Justice says, "Damn. Commander, we've got one more raider inbound, and I'm pretty sure I'm seeing signs of at least a couple more throughout the field. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep us from getting shot for too long."
What's the best way to avoid their fire? Get close to an asteroid?
And I can try to pilot around with something that I can try to pilot through some of the thicker elements and hope the hull plating will keep the shuttlecraft, will keep the shuttle pod from sustaining too much damage. But that may also it may mess with our engine manifolds there too. The other
Trust your
option,
piloting. What's the other option?
other option would honestly be to turn back the way we came and hope Aegis can get through to us here. There is a path to this section of the asteroid belt, but that corridor's well, it would just accommodate the Aegis. Not much room to maneuver, though.
If we return to the asteroid, is there any cover? What's to stop them just blowing up the shuttle on the surface?
Well, if we're back in the cavern was more my thinking. The weapons couldn't get through the heavy metal deposits. That said, I'm more keen to get home myself, so I completely understand not wanting to stick around there.
Been a hazardous situation either way.
By the way, suit back on. He was already like about to take off his helmet, or halfway take off his helmet. Just
keep
locks it
your
back in.
keep your environmental suits on.
Yep. Melnyuk is also doing the same. Oh, I'm not a fan of these things.
Actually, I find them quite comforting.
Oh. So, let's see. At the moment, I suppose you are you're in combat here, technically. So what you have the ability to, since it's just the two of you up here right now, you could conceivably, you can have Justice try to make it through the field. One of them will. I'm going to spend 2 threat to create to activate a trait for the scene, which is lying in wait. Effectively, that there are Nausicaan raiders here, and they all start with a readied action.
Is it to run away by any chance?
No.
Damn.
Is it to send us lots of cake and free presents?
Ooh, I like that one.
They'll definitely send something your way.
Oh, good. Oh, excellent.
Okay, so
So let's just can I just ask? So we've got one on our tail, or around there, which had the probe hit it.
Yep.
Then we've got how many other Nausicaan raiders are there now starting to come out of the, well, not woodwork, I guess, asteroid belt?
Let's see. I will dump 4 additional threat to declare there are at least 2 more raiders, plus the one that just shot you. So you have at least 4 right now.
Right. Okay. And so essentially, those 3 are what, kind of between us and the Aegis?
That they are.
Okay, so running the gauntlet of 3 Nausicaan raiders, as good as Justice is, it doesn't sound healthy.
There are risks. You could use your shuttle pod to, or you could try to take the shuttle pod through a thicker element of the field. However, that would have a natural complication range, or it would at least be. I'd say that it has at least a higher difficulty trying to navigate through there, and that, failures would at least slow you down. Complications would make it easier for you to be targeted.
Also, we have momentum, so you can create advantages.
Yes. And the other option is to try to return to the asteroid and park in a cavern.
Basically, returning to where you came, which would be fortified against the blasts. They could conceivably get people through, but
undoubtedly send landing parties as they did previously.
Yes. Though you do, you do have the advantage of it being effectively a choke point, which you could hold with your relatively smaller numbers. You would also have the shuttle pod's own weaponry, so long as that remains online. you effectively have a heavy weapon in that circumstance. The cave would not fit a raider, just to be clear.
Okay, interesting. All right, so we'd set up in a fortified position and hope the Aegis can come in and save us, or we attempt a gauntlet through a denser part of the asteroid field, avoiding the raider incoming fire and try to get back to the ship. What does everyone think?
I think I'm leaving it up to my commander.
Yes, that's nice, but out of character.
I think we might have better chance on the asteroid at this point.
Mm,
There's 4 of them, only one of us, at least on the ground. We might be able to enclose ourselves and make contact with the Aegis.
yeah,
I will say one thing about the shuttle pod. You are a scale 1 craft, so that does make it more difficult for them to hit you. That does increase the difficulty, I believe, by 1 for any craft trying to engage. I'm going to
but
double
they're
check.
gonna have 4 shots,
Yeah.
maybe 3 shots or something like that to hit us. One of them is gonna hit, and I don't
That
trust
said, that said, you're going to make it more difficult than by flying in a more difficult area.
Mm.
In addition to, if you add a advantage, you can also make it more difficult. So it might be a tough roll for them overall. 4 chances to roll is, not great. But if it's a high enough roll, then it might not matter. But you might also run the risk of getting stuck in the briars that you try to sneak in yourself through, or have other troubles.
Yeah.
So you can either have Justice be really cool, or you can be cool yourself and hide in a corner and wait. Basically hold up a fort and wait for cavalry to show up. Either are fun options.
Yes.
Personally.
Yes.
I do have to make one amendment, as I am reviewing the Utopia Planitia book as released by Modiphius, which, for anybody that wants to check that out, they did release the 2nd edition of the game just a little while ago. One of the factors affecting the difficulty of attacks would be if your target is a scale 1 or 2 ship and the attacking ship is scale 3 or higher, the Nausicaans are actually scale 2 vessels, so they actually do not suffer that particular increase in difficulty.
That changes. I think I'm inclined to agree. We probably go to the asteroid belt.
Would that is that to say going navigating
Sorry,
through
asteroid.
the belt?
Back to the asteroid, not navigate the thing. So hole up in a cavern.
Gotcha. So, Justice will shift his eyes to you for a moment and then nod. Aye, Commander. I'll bring us about. Hold on. With a careful. I guess I will have him. I won't have him roll for fluff purposes. You're full of on momentum, so you don't necessarily need anything more at the moment. But Justice is going to flip the nose around fast enough that even with the inertial dampeners, you do feel a bit of that turn. The very slight somersaulting of your stomach. And then...
as Justice is maneuvering, I'm going to send another message to the Aegis.
Right. We'll call this a burst message, so as Justice fires the impulse engines and aims to get you back to the cavern, what is it that they would hear on the bridge of the Aegis?
Incoherent screaming.
Yeah. Amid Xanter's incoherent screaming in the background.
There's at least 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the asteroid for cover. 4 raiders. We're returning to the aste
that message repeats back on the bridge of the Aegis where, Captain, if I'm not mistaken, you have called action stations.
Yep.
Oh dear. I think I had both roll 20s unmuted there, so more properly sound like... Yep. So on the bridge of the Aegis, the crew is scrambling to their stations as Crichton is relaying that information whilst also playing over the audio. Turns and says, They've confirmed their signal. They are converging on the original asteroid site where they had been prospecting, Captain.
Do we detect the pirate signals? The enemy signals?
I will try to parse it out, Captain, but it is... there's a lot of interference, both from the radioactive anomaly and the high metal concentration, sir.
Give me as quick as you can, when you can, Mr. Alvarez. How far can our phasers die or plow through that muck? There we go.
You mean the interference, sir?
I do plan on screening, if we can.
Well, the GM is free to correct me, but I suspect that the range is severely limited by the audio interference here.
Yeah. If the thinking were like, if so far as the asteroid concentration here, it's not like there isn't like an ambient cloud of any sort that is reducing your effective range, but the asteroids are made of sufficiently heavy metals to where they could be resistant to phase cannons, so it's, you aren't going to just blow up a path here.
No, I just basically creating covering fire for the shuttle, trying to dissuade their pursuers a little bit.
Oh.
A lot of explosions and whatnot.
If I may, Captain, we could also blow up the asteroids near the Nausicans.
Make firing solutions.
Kind of shrapnel.
Make firing solutions, Mr. Alvarez.
In the work, so he's like he knows how to do it, but you recognize an officer that hasn't done that a lot, especially when the commanding officer is standing right behind him.
She'd just pauses for like a quick moment and then just walks back to the bridge, walks back to her seat. Mr. Horn, can you help out Mr. Alvarez of making fire solutions?
Of course. So we exchange rumors.
Felix assisting Felix.
Yes, that's what I do. I do everything myself.
It's just Felix like swapping hats just as he goes.
That's how all my characters work, just different hats.
Or fake mustaches. Just
Yeah. So yeah, we're getting some firing solutions. I hope the idea was also that hopefully targeting the asteroids near the enemy ships might be easier to hit because they're probably larger.
They are a bit larger, but there are going to be some factors that will make things a bit difficult. So the asteroids that are relatively, or like the smaller asteroids that are relatively close to the big one, there are two factors to consider. First, their range is effectively at extreme range, so it is greater than 3 zones. That is going to add 2 to the difficulty of the attack. There is also a lot of there are a lot of smaller asteroids and things on moving in different courses between, so I'd say that adds another notch to the difficulty. A base torpedo attack is already difficulty 3, so to create even with the what you are doing here, and even if I were to shave off a little just to reflect that these are big, supposedly bigger targets, we're still talking at like a difficulty 5 roll.
Can
And
I
I
make the
think
order? Can I assist by making the order with my ship command roll thing, Mabob, to help out there?
You could use your role as captain to, or like you could use that ability to, you could use the direct action basically that you have as captain to roll and assist there. I do think that means that only Alvarez or Horn could roll on this one. It would be control plus security. I also think this, well, in most cases, another assist would be prohibited. I will allow for the ship in this circumstance.
so what's the role?
It is control plus security. And I suppose I should clarify, are you basically looking to fire like a barrage of torpedoes in just to make things a little more messy in there? Are you actively trying to destroy the asteroids? Like, give me a sense of intention here.
I'm trying to create screening fire, in order to slow down, distract, if not damage the pursuing pirate ships. I want to fracture the asteroid, just causing some closer location, or detonate the torpedoes themselves and have their explosion do enough concussion or whatnot to just cause more chaos. But generally, just trying to create like a nice blanket behind the shuttle to prevent to slow them down, slow down the pursuit.
Would it be perhaps easier if the kind of the intent is not to hit anything specific, but just a shot at the bow, just like spread of torpedoes that hits the general area?
Yeah.
And if we even hit something, it's probably luck, but it looks very intimidating to the Nausicaans.
Very, very good dissuasion for pursuing, and we're much more more clear threat.
So we don't make it more complicated, but by trying to hit something very small, but we make very good just area filling fire.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. I will allow for that, and I will reduce the difficulty on what you are trying to do. Because you are basically trying to create an advantage with the torpedoes. Would that be a fair assessment?
It's actually probably fair.
Yeah, that's kind of, so I guess we'd spend 2 momentum and just be done with it.
Well,
I think it would actually make more sense.
It's still kind of an attack, though. So it does, like, because you are firing a barrage of torpedoes, that's something where, like, mechanically, I do take threat for something like that.
That's a reason more to just make it an advantage.
Yeah.
No. So neither Horn nor Alvarez has a focus that helps. Do we have momentum? Or we do have momentum.
We have lots of momentum.
Yep.
Yeah, then I would like to buy a third die, at least.
Okay.
Yep.
No,
I will say that currently this is a control plus security roll here.
Yeah, Horn will make the roll because he's slightly better.
Yep.
Control
And
security.
just to clarify, the difficulty on this task will be 4.
Okay.
I'm excluding basically the range thing, since you're not necessarily targeting anything. You're just firing the torpedoes out and setting them to detonate at a certain point. You are having to deal with the possibility that, smaller objects might get in the way.
Yeah. Does Alvarez have a value? Because you could probably use your value here. Oh, never mind.
Sorry, it just clicked.
Is anybody rolling for the ship? If not, I can roll.
I don't think anybody has, so go ahead, Pete.
Cool. Weapons and security, I'm assuming.
Yep. And then
Strategy
Captain, you
here apply. Ooh,
that would apply.
You don't need me, but yeah.
Well, it'll earn you back
I guess use control and command here, right? Because I'm using command, like my
Yes.
directive function.
I'll treat it. Nice.
Hey.
Okay, so for those listening in an audio format, this was a difficulty 4 control plus security task, which Horn rolled 2 successes. The ship provided an assist with 2 successes, and then Colonel Sharp, using the direct action, was able to assist as well, and also granted 2 successes. That is a total of 6, which means that you gain a point of momentum. You also have 1 floating. I am going to correct the visual just so that, or the momentum tracker on screen here. Let's see. I've got to move this over to
The captain sits back down. Time it for a creeping screen. Here's the coordinates.
Not that many. Yep. So, you fire off. I presume this is multiple torpedoes. So we are talking about a salvo. That means the GM will take. Let's see. That is 3 points of threat.
You really don't have to.
Oh, but I
really
do. So on the map ahead of you, I am going ahead and putting up a tactical display here. You can see your rough position as well as the shuttle pod's location. You have a vague sense that Nausicaans are out there as well. I'll go ahead and I'll put up at least confirmed raider locations for you.
Is there anything we can do with the 1 floating momentum?
Probably
It's not really much, is there?
Well, not a whole lot. A single momentum could be used to obtain information or other things of that sort. Before we resolve that, if you just give me the moment to establish. Yeah. So the Aegis lets loose a salvo of torpedoes, for which the GM does take threat. They are not aimed in any particular direction, but they do fly out, dodging and weaving through the dense thickets of asteroids. They don't air towards the risky or particularly dense areas, thus avoiding most of the risk. They don't seem to make contact with any of the Nausicaan raiders themselves either. But some torpedoes do hit the large asteroids that are nearby in the vicinity, and in moments after some of them begin colliding, some begin exploding, sensors light up at both tactical and sciences, suggesting not just hits, but explosions. While you are trying to work out what happens, I'll give that bit of exposition to Steward, who looks through the viewer and says, "Though some of the asteroids they seem to have been loaded with some sort of volatile substance. Based on the signatures I'm picking up, those shouldn't be naturally occurring in the asteroids. They have spread in that section, and there's an increased concentration of smaller particulates. There are a few less, I guess, to hide behind, but it's going to be a lot more difficult trying to maneuver the ship through there, or at high speed, I would say."
We accidentally set off one of their traps. All right. Make sure they're not atmosphere. Do more research on the particulate matter, in particular that they're using as, if it is a defensive or offensive trap. and if there's any other such containers out there that we weren't aware of before, now that we've accidentally hit it.
Aye, sir. I know what
Any,
I know what I'll be looking for now. I'll get right to it.
any other quails moving in the tall grass? She looks over to Crichton.
None that I'm picking up yet, sir. Well, at least I'm trying to discern the signals, but it's very hard for me to get past these anomalies here.
All right, send a
Would
signal
would
to
one momentum help
would one man help? Yeah.
to obtain
May-
that information?
maybe,
Slides one
sir.
momentum towards Crichton.
Oh boy, I'm just an NPC. I rarely get these momentum. You didn't actually need to spend it there.
Just one of the other ensigns. Why is he speaking like that? Oh, don't ask. Don't ask.
Yep. You could. I see that you dropped a couple there, so if you wanted, you could actually create the advantage to allow yourself a little more insight into the mystery there.
Yeah. Let's spend 2 to get advantage of a little more insight of now that we shook up the place a bit.
All right. In that case, Crichton says, "Wait, sirs, I am actually getting a signal. It appears to be an intentional hailing frequency being broadcast from deeper within the asteroid belt. I'm attempting to localize the source. Stand by, sir. Sir, the signal is directed at us."
On screen.
All right. And on the view screen ahead of you is the hulking figure of a tall Nausicaan warrior decked in armor with blades stretching from various conceivable junctions, such that even trying to approach this man would seem an exercise in grave danger. Yes.
Yeah.
This is not a man to try and hug. He is otherwise. Yeah. He is a pale Nausicaan in ornate armor and an eye patch over his left eye. "I am famous, and you have entered my domain."
This is Captain Lillian Sharp of the Earth exploration ship Aegis. Apologize for the fireworks, but I take a little personally when we start chasing my own crewmates.
He lazily glances in your direction as the Nausicaan appears to be seated in what you realize is effectively a throne.
Yeah. Sharp treats her captain chair also like a throne, but she is tall, unblinking, and staring directly in his eyes if you could.
Yep.
If she could.
"Your crew has trespassed in my domain. Their freedom is forfeit, and if any harm should come to those in my control, their lives are forfeit, unless you present the appropriate respect and compensation."
My apologies. Perhaps you should leave a few buoys out here to let people know whose territory it belongs to. Certainly, we can come to a bit of negotiation on how best to tribute to you. But I would like my crewmen back first.
He simply shakes his head at this. your crew, those who trespassed against us, I shall deal with and understand their purpose first, and then, when I am satisfied I understand, then we can negotiate. If you have means or something of value to provide, then you will take this time to determine your tribute before I return your crew. Such is my word.
I take any threat to my own crew as personal to me. I would treat them very kindly. Famous.
He narrows his eye and leans forward just slightly. You will find I do the same. Prepare what you would deem worthy for tribute, and I shall give my answer when satisfied. With a single gesture of his hand, just waving towards someone on the off the screen, the line is closed and the Nausicaan disappears.
Okay. Question, GM.
Yes.
Pirate leaders are a dime a dozen, especially amongst Nausicaans. Do I know this name by Famous at all?
I beg your pardon? What was that?
Pirate leaders are a dime a dozen, but especially when it comes to Nausicaans. But do I recognize his name at all amongst my time as Teach?
Give me an insight plus command roll. I'm going to call the difficulty on this 2.
Insight, command, diplomacy, strategy, gambling. and those work.
I'm thinking very carefully. I don't think so in this particular case.
Not even diplomacy? I would think diplomacy would work here.
Well,
Just so
actually,
I know
there is one diplomatic element to that. But
Yeah.
there's something that does come to mind that would make the skill relevant. So yes, I will grant you the focus.
Cool. Cautious. I'll spend momentum if you guys don't mind.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Ooh, boy.
That is 5
Why?
successes, Captain.
Yeah.
And yeah, with that, Captain, it occurs to you that the name does sound a little bit familiar. And then you realize it might be a good idea to look back, replay the audio a bit, or replay the signal from Famous.
Crichton, can you replay the signal?
Yes, sir. Placing that up, you glance around the Nausicaans. You glance around the Nausicaan. The display showed him seated in this throne. Obviously you are focused on this hulking, armored, and bladed individual, but you realize around him that there are a number of sorts of banners and symbols. Some of them are like the illuminated standard sort of thing of they're more permanent fixtures, things that suggest some degree of finery and ability to identify, which your pirate background, or the time where you were doing things with that, does tell you that there is certain symbology there. Some of it alludes basically to different sort of Nausicaan, like different fealties to other Nausicaans or like symbols of alliance. A few of these flags include standards beyond that, including some that are Orion, and one of them you recognize in particular.
She just slowly sucks in her breath and exhales. Great. Crichton, Mr. Crichton, can you zoom on that flag to third on the right?
Yes, sir. And he magnifies it. It is partially folded inward, but there are familiar contours on display from what you can identify. All too familiar.
An old friend.
She will never want to be my friend. This is... Great. All right. Mr. Crichton.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any... Are we in contact with Earth in any capacity?
I should still be able to raise the Echo 2 probe, sir. Besides that, the next fastest contact would be to try and reach the Terra Nova colony directly. So that would still take some time, sir.
How much time?
Well, it's...
Plot inconvenient time.
Yes, plot convenient time, at least to send the message, but to get a reply back might take plot inconvenient time. And certainly if we're looking for reinforcements, our ships travel a lot slower than communications do, sir.
I understand that. She nods. That isn't my concern. I was hoping a mildly less way of dealing with this. She says through good teeth.
Should I reach out to Earth, sir?
In a moment. Mr. Horn, could I speak to you in my ready room, please?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would you like to go directly into that scene, or would you like to flit around a little bit as we?
I don't mind flitting around a little bit,
Yeah.
if you wish, to see what the ground crew is doing.
Yes. We'll cycle through the crews kind of in the order that we've been playing at this. So let's first go back to the bridge of the Raider. As the while that last hit was not so successful, Remora it did seem to succeed in turning the shuttle pod back around and allowing it to escape back into the cavern, where your vessels will not be able to reach it. Sadly, the Raider that was nearest by, they were not able to restore their targeting sensors on a timely basis, so it pretty much breezed right on by them without being challenged again. In spite of the fact that you have your prey cornered now, Captain Argan is not particularly happy at the moment. How could you have missed that craft? We had tactical superiority over them.
Well, Captain, if you must know, as you can see, there's a lot of interference. Not to mention, you didn't ask for an attack formation. But this was an instant situation, and I do apologize. You're correct. I should do better.
Well, I suppose at least this way we can take the prisoners in proper combat. prepare half our available complement on the ground for. We shall send half of our force alongside one of the other raiders. Small team should be able to incapacitate them quickly. Some of the other Nausicaans on the bridge stations will stand up. And Racco says, well, I suppose I can keep up some of the stations on my own here, but you might want to, Kesh, you care going over to secondary tactical navigation over there? Give Remora a hand, and hate for him to miss an opportunity with all that non-genetically augmented reflexes and whatnot.
You want me here or do you want me down, Captain? Your orders.
Stay where you are for now. At least on the bridge here. I'm not sending you down to where you can. Well, I won't have you make up your mistake just yet. So you can alternatively plead your case on this in a moment if you like, Remora, but Kesh will first come over and man the station. Seems like this is getting to be serious business. Famous himself actually contacted the Earthship.
I saw. I heard. I'm gonna lean forward onto my console to make it look like I'm focusing.
Yeah. Going to try and get identification on it. Better to know our opponent here. Would you care to assist me?
Absolutely.
All right. So, Kesh is going to roll a Reason plus Science roll. You may assist with the same, though security I think would be justified as well. Okay. Single roll there, actually. On the
My
assist.
bad, I'm sorry.
That's quite alright.
I think you just keep the zero.
Reroll.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Well, since your sensors are a bit better acclimated to it, and this is identifying a clearly broadcast signal, as the Earthship's beacon is, you are able to screen through that with one additional success, which thankfully nets me a threat. Yes. I can make it out one of their, supposedly a slower line vessel of a sort, rough cruiser size. If they proceed in the corridor, then we should be able to effect the usual plan. Vessel reads as Aegis.
Remora leans over and looks at his screen just to make sure he heard what he heard.
Well, we'll see if these Earthers have anything of value. Otherwise, whenever the meat assault goes forward, and however many of them manage to bring back, however many of them survive, we'll have an.
Hey.
Yes,
You
Remora.
trust me.
Ugh, much as I trust anyone here.
As my friend. I need you to do something for me.
Tell me this has something to do with the Andorian ales I have waiting back at base.
I wish it did. I lean in real close not with my lips pointed towards his ear, but as if we're both looking at the screen together. I need you to send an encrypted signal to that ship.
He will likewise make an effort to look at the screen. Although from the corner of your eyes, you can see his own kind of flitting in your direction, deeply curious as to what is about to transpire. For his part, I'll tell you what. Remora, make an appeal to his friendship here. Give me, well, you can make this a roll if you would like. And I can say, I'll call it. You're probably good friends. Let's call this a difficulty 1 roll, just to convince him to stick his neck out on this. Call it presence plus command.
Am I allowed to use a threat?
Not in this case, I think.
Darn it.
Do you want to
You
use
wanna
momentum?
Yeah.
You use momentum? We got lots.
Can I use 1 momentum?
Sure,
Come
we're
the
down to
light
5.
side of the force. We have momentum.
I'm gonna grab an extra dice because those stats are real low.
Sure, you can borrow one. We have very reasonable rates.
Can I subterfuge
for
focus?
Yes.
Very quick. How much momentum did we gain from
We
Sharp's
gained
roll?
3, but now we're down to 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Let me update that.
Yeah.
There.
There you go.
Okay. So. All right. So with that 1 success there, I think that we will cap off that scene for the moment, and I will switch us back to the asteroid field, or rather inside the depths of the asteroid, where the away team is presently gathering. Shira, after setting back down, tell me, have you opted to stay inside the shuttle pod, or are you exiting, preparing for an assault? How would you be going about things here?
Gonna get outside and prepare for an assault. Assuming with the cavern we've chosen, right? So is it open? How big is the entrance to it?
So let's see. The cavern, I'd say, it's comfortably, I'd say, like the crater that you found where it's situated. At its narrowest point, it's probably something like 40, 50 meters wide across. But it kind of twists and turns a little bit, such to where Justice had to use thrusters in order to kick things around. Once it gets into the chamber, it opens up a bit more to maybe, like, nearly double that at its maximum sort of width, but it's an irregular sort of formation. There appears to only be the one way in as far as, like, paths to the surface that your shuttle pod is able to navigate. There are other holes in the, there are basically holes there. Well, there are holes left by the Cosmozoa, that's what I was thinking, that lead deeper into the asteroid, or like the asteroid proper.
Okay, right. So 40 to 50 meters, that's not a choke point, that's just a... Yeah, they can get through that easy enough.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Are there any other exits in this cavern other than the one that our shuttle come through?
The stuff made by the Cosmozoa.
Right.
How big are the tunnels made by the Cosmozoa?
I'd say they're, like, They are about 1.5 meters wide, so very nearly what, if you were standing up, then you would be like from end to end, just kind of, well, if you weren't in your spacesuits, you'd probably just about be able to fit. If you go through there, you are going to have to hunch down.
That sounds better.
Hmm.
Would mean giving up the shuttle, but okay.
Yeah.
It would have to be reclaimed after, but
We can also scrap it.
then we wouldn't really have any way of getting off the asteroid, though.
How close is the asteroid to like oh god, I can't, my brain is dying here. Teleportation range.
It's probably like,
Safely.
well, so the sort of maximum range of the transporters would be about 200,000 kilometers. I'm going to say that you're probably double that distance from the Aegis, if not a little more, from where it's currently positioned.
Sure.
Which would, since you're not beaming from a pad, that would make it difficult. If they were in transporter range, they'd have that,
Transporting.
and they would have the heavy metal concentration to deal with.
Right. Heavy metal. Yeah. Okay. So they have to get really close in order to neutralize all of that problems. Okay.
Fun times.
Yeah. Justice
Okay,
says,
right.
"Oh, wait a minute. Are we sure we want to just leave the old girl behind? I mean, with the shuttle pod here, if they do come in, I know that I'm not one for violence personally, Commander, but either me or you with the plasma cannons here, we can give them the old 1-2.
It would be, I certainly plan to do that.
At the very least, we can.
How susceptible to ground fire is a shuttle? I mean, they're coming in presumably with energy pistols and direct energy rifles and that kind of thing. How much damage do those do to a shuttle? Because they're mostly there to hit a person rather than a vehicle.
That's a good question. How well does 22nd century disruptors and whatnot scale to ship hulls?
Oh, the shuttle's resistance against a proper against disruptor rifles would probably be considerable. They'd have to make a pretty lucky shot, probably like directly on the engine or on an already damaged part of the shuttle pod in order to actually do anything too serious to us.
Okay, alright. Okay, we can probably stay inside, and if worst comes to the worst, we have to ditch the shuttle and go inside a Cosmozoa tunnel.
Wait, I gotta dig it. He stomps on over toward the shuttle again. Starts digging through the mining equipment. I want to use your rigging to try to, or I'm gonna grab the mining laser rather. He pulls it out. If we set it to a wide, if we set it to a wide beam, it might be a deterrence for any sort of close combat or entrance. Mind the air.
Could be useful. See if you can rig it up.
I don't know how much.
I'll help him with that, Chief Fernier says. Honestly, I feel a bit responsible getting us here for just to stretch our legs and mine what would have been some useful materials. Least I can do.
The only ones responsible are those are the Nausicans, so don't worry about it.
Might have to take a few parts from other places though.
As long as it doesn't affect the flying and shooting abilities of the shuttle, then that'll be fine.
He starts just grabbing random shit that might be useful elsewhere, but he starts just picking through places and trying to see what he can use. Yeah, I basically want to create a wide beam mining laser, and more or less make it effective enough where it would compromise. Doesn't have to be like enough to kill or hurt somebody, but enough to severely compromise EVA suits if you cross the beam perimeter. I'm widening the beam, and I'm just, which probably make it less effective, but I want to make it effective enough to compromise EVA suits if they cross it. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Hello?
Making sense to me.
Sorry about that. My mic went off there for a moment. And I would say, yes, that would make complete sense there, and that we could definitely let you set that up so that it's like an. If you want, you can just spend momentum and create an advantage to where the mining laser can be rigged up that way, give you sort of a.
He just like takes a tool and starts clipping off the front end of the mining laser, so it widens the beam severely.
Gotcha. So, I don't recall. Did you give Leighton an activation the last time?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Very good. I will say, I do think that it would be appropriate to roll for this task, basically to create the advantage here. We'll call this daring plus engineering. Because it's kind of, you're basically kind of doing a sort of jury rigging sort of thing. Or a light jury rigging type deal.
Focus, jury rigging.
Yep, that definitely applies.
And I'm use the value. If you can't beat them, rig them.
That also makes sense.
And I'll get 2 successes there. And boop.
Okay, so the value.
Man, hot today. Holy shit.
The value gives you the automatic critical success. By invoking your determination for the basically making that 2 successes there. The roll on top of that gives you a total of 5, so that is 3 momentum back, which means you refill the pool. You are back up to 6. And you also, by doing that, you also have, what is it? Sorry. Congestion is a miserable thing. You have, I think that would be,
I think it's 2 floating.
That's right. 2 floating momentum.
Which takes back the, which restores the 2 I took. So.
Oh.
We're good.
Right.
So I spent 2 for the thingy, and then for the advantage at all.
Okay.
And then I use my value to get 2 automatic successes, and then with an extra 2, I just restored what I used that.
Good.
I gotcha. Sorry. I will readily concede for all of for the players and for everybody watching now. The GM is in a bit of a state with the. I am getting over a cold at the moment, so I am not quite as sharp on this. I will try to do as best as possible. Anyway.
I'm just setting up the mining laser close enough to the entrance where it would be very obstructing without giving us away in terms of a power signature and all those heavy minerals. if I can.
While you're doing that, sorry. While Leighton and Fernie are working on that, the rest of you have other things you could be doing. Xantar, is there any particular thing you would want to do right now whilst you are out here in your EVA suit?
He does go up to Chief, who was piloting before, and just to say, Chief, thank you. Excellent flying up there. Not my usual speed, but you handled it very well.
Oh. Anytime, he says, giving you the rock symbol with the pinky and forefinger and thumb outstretched.
And he'll awkwardly imitate it, just
Nice.
and then I'll walk over to the lieutenant commander.
Yep. Shira, any other things that you want to coordinate with the crew you have on hand?
We've got a scientist. Melniak, is any of this bits of this cavern unstable? Specifically around the entrance.
The composition with the the iron and magnesite components wouldn't be so much so, but heronium that's been irradiated, even in this state, it can be a bit volatile. That's part of the reason that finding a natural source that's already irradiated like this was nice, because if we were trying to irradiate the precursor compounds on the ship, they tend to be volatile.
I'm just thinking, if we were to target those irradiated heronium sections of the cavern, we could potentially bring down a shower of debris on top of them, or at least cause the Nausicans some difficulties.
Yeah, I guess with the, with a properly charged phaser, probably tuned for the upper EM band, you could get sufficient particle excitation. I'll scan for a deposit here just to see if there's something around.
Yeah, good work.
So, Al is going to set to work. As everybody else finishes their work, well, I'll ask Shira, is there anyone else you would want to exchange words with here?
No, I think she's okay for now.
Okay. Well, we'll say that some time elapses, or a little bit of time elapses for everybody to do what they need to. On Lieutenant Melnick's part, she points and identifies with her tricorder. Looks like there are 2 deposits. I'd say if they're on the based on the terrain they're approaching, she identifies places where they could advance there and there, which will basically mean I'll treat that as another advantage created, one that you can hold and reserve. I am going to say it took her 3 successes, but basically you will get at least 1 shot where approaching Nausicans will suffer an additional bit of damage, or you can grant your phaser the area effect to reflect that shrapnel is exploding around them.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll say that you have to declare the charge minor action before you take that shot, however.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So, with that, Fernie says, mining lasers rigged up and ready. For the type of charge we're going to have to let off, probably won't have more than one use, but it should also catch a few people here. One
Excellent. Good work.
properly aimed shot will puncture the suits.
Okay.
Ju-
Right.
Justice, who is inside the pod, his voice comes over the microphones. Commander, I'm trying to get through the interference here, but I think there's a good chance that the Nausicaans might be landing some craft on the asteroid's exterior.
Okay,
Indeterminate number of
let's-
life signs.
Okay, everyone, get into the shuttle. Justice, this is no longer a shuttle. This is an armored vehicle.
I'm Zach, just assuming that aboard the shuttle they have a few spare phase pistols in one of the compartments.
They do. Everybody may freely take a phase pistol.
Yeah,
I want
Xanta,
everyone to have a sidearm.
Xanta arms himself and checks the power cell and prepares it.
Yep. So, everybody bunching up in the shuttle pod then.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. And so, Shira, you ready the weapons? You polarize the hull plating. You have everybody pulled in so that you can prepare yourself for the coming assault here. And now it becomes a waiting game. While the landing party on the shuttle braces for what is to come, meanwhile, back on the Aegis, we find ourselves in the captain's ready room. At this point, both Sharp and Horn have settled into seats, as Sharp has been recounting the unpleasant detail she's come to understand. Would I be correct to assume that amid the paper star charts on your table, you've found a clear space to set a drink?
Yeah. I set a drink for him. It's whiskey. And certainly my ashtray is holding a burning cigar. that I'm
Obviously.
using.
Yep. The slightly acrid violation of Starfleet regulations against igniting a combustible substance on a starship wafted through the compartment. Whether it is to your liking or not, I'll leave that to you. Though I suppose you might have smelled the odd high-quality cigar back on Cuba.
I mean, I also assume there's like a smoke detector that's pointedly turned off.
Turn down. Yeah.
Indeed.
So can I then assume that according to age tradition as old as time, the relationship to your mother-in-law is terrible?
Given the fact that my very first meeting with her was me unknowingly trying to assassinate her, yes.
Well, given
Certainly-
what I've heard from Orions, it seems almost like you paid her a compliment immediately. So
It was a bold move by my former compatriot at the time. At the time, I was just fresh into my deep cover, thought this person had a connection, and he did, but he wanted me to use as muscle to go after the queen herself. And I didn't know that until we were captured and brought before the queen, which led to the whole business. She kind of gestures, running and gunning, lots of phasers, lots of corpses, me dragging Visenia into a escape pod, and well, here I am. She accepted it initially. I wasn't happy as she had planned for her youngest daughter to marry off to someone else, but we were both young, and she didn't expect it to last more than a few months, maybe. I really haven't talked to her really that much ever since.
I mean,
The fact that I've now that her daughter's arrested in the same place that where Teach, she puts air quotes, is arrested, probably doesn't add further improvement in the relations.
no, but also when we left Earth, there was at least no known bounty on your head. Unless
Yet.
there was, and TGM tells me right now. So maybe the relationship isn't that bad. Can we leverage this, or should we just steer clear of that?
It really depends on her mood and whether or not I can get contact with her as opposed to her professional beard, some
I mean,
tech giant, some trade giant, Ryan trade giant of a husband.
also, I apologize if that complicates the situation, but if she has some say out here, that would be beneficial for our general mission.
Do you really want one of the leaders of the Orion Syndicate to be anywhere close to our mission?
I mean, we have no
This
idea
isn't-
what we're going to
this
find out
isn't-
here.
This isn't some pirate lord. This is one of the heads of the syndicate.
Yeah, there's bigger pirates. I mean, it sounds like we're gonna run into her anyway if you're staying out here for a while. Or do you think this is a coincidence?
I'm hoping it's just a coincidence.
How much
Sarah
does Sharp
Wolf-
believe in a coincidence at this point? Is Sharp manifesting right now?
Yeah, like Sharp is just kind of like being extremely like, even though you can tell very tone, she's being extremely hopeful.
I mean, I don't want to have any dealings with pirate kings or criminal syndicates entirely, if possible. But out here, any protection might be better than no protection.
Question, Zach, how far are we from her known territory that I'm aware of?
As far as you know, this would be more towards the edge of where she usually operates. She, at last check, had been trying to do a little more towards like operating in Enolian and Klingon space, or in the general direction of Klingon space, further rimward out in the Beta Quadrant, or more deeper in that direction.
But I don't know. I'm not told everything, and certainly she won't tell me. So
yeah, your information is out of date.
Last time I checked, and I even looked into it, you can probably ask my wife, either of them. She says, kind of runs that through her mouth a little bit, because that's a bit of an ordeal. But she says, last time I checked, we're at the very edge of our territory. This is, if anything, just a loose alliance, patronage.
Do our plans bring us deeper in her territory, or are we
shouldn't.
skirting the outskirts?
I try to avoid it.
I mean, we could always offer to trade for some information.
Potentially be useful. But
Like whatever reconnaissance we can do out there might be useful for her, and no skin off our back.
I had hoped that I could probably contact Visenia and lean in a little hard on the royal family a bit with her word on this distant sandcastle lord, as it were, to just browbeat and move on. But she shakes her head.
I mean, I would operate under the presumption that your mother-in-law will find out that you're in the area. Just because that's the worst case scenario, and you should always expect the worst.
She
In this
nods.
particular instance. So then the question we need to ask is, would she react better to you coming to her, at least on voice, or you keeping your head down? While we're still in control of the situation.
How vicious is Aloha? Zelosis?
I would say Zelosis. I mean, you don't stay on top so long in the Syndicate without a velvet glove, but a willingness to really use that fist underneath. Velvet glove, iron fist.
Right. But like, would she
Yes.
pluck my wings in order to just get even a word, or would she actually be willing to talk?
No, there's the
I mean-
Kingpin and there's Joker.
Yeah.
She
It's more of like, is she more of
Businesswoman or loose cannon?
businesswoman or ruthless overlord?
I'd say that her business instincts can be appealed to. She might have some. There might be some bargaining with her yet, although any bargain is going to hurt. If it, it's going to be costly. And you know that the way that things went with Visenia and the situation that everything has gone in, you expect she will be very tough with the negotiation. At this moment, I am actually going to have the door charm.
She like opens her mouth to say something and pauses. Yes.
Crichton opens the door and steps in. Captain, we've received a message that I thought you should know about. This is a little surprising because he had only just he had relayed the message to the Echo station not too recently, as well as to Terra Nova, and Echo 3, or rather Echo 2 might have gotten it along fast, but you wouldn't expect it to be that fast to get to Starfleet Command.
That's a little fast of a message return, she says, takes a drag from her cigar.
Well, sir, it wasn't a message from Starfleet. It was a badly scrambled signal from inside the asteroid field. At first, I thought it might have been the shuttle pod trying to reach out, but it wasn't on one of our normal frequencies. And I was just keeping an eye open for what I could find. I put it together, and I found the following message in the. I've set it in the. Let's see. Should actually be just beneath the handout section here, sir. In the Roll 20. Right below the character tabs.
Encrypted signal, yep.
Yes. And for those looking over the shoulder, well, I'll just say that I'll give you the first half of that message read aloud for looking just over, with the camera creating just over the captain's shoulder. See that the signal initially reads, "You don't know me, but I know of you. You have made friends in low places, and I am that friend." And I think
She'll get up and say,
because items that you're wearing.
tell the con to start approaching the asteroid field at low impulse.
Are we in? Do you want? Would that be into the corridor, sir?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I'll have them ready. And Crichton will turn about, leave, and relay your orders.
She'll hand over the encrypted signal to Horn. Looks like we're about to have a fun day.
Uh-huh. Looking forward to it.
Just be sure not to shoot the yellow guy.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yes. So, let's see. As Aegis prepares to maneuver around, I think that it would make the most sense to cut back to the asteroid and to the away team as the first assault comes through. I should ask, Remora, did you aim to make a case to join the assault force?
No, I'm staying on the bridge.
Okay. So, as you stay on the Raider, we cut back inside the shuttle pod in the cavern. With the thrusters nudging it, you have set yourself in a secure position. Justice has killed the interior lights as well as floodlights, so as not to give away your position, at least as best as you can, and indeed probably keeping some power relatively low so that the Narsicans don't try to... or the Narsicans don't look directly for the shuttle or, prepare themselves for that. They probably have the vague sense of some sort of energy signatures in the, somewhere in the vicinity, but they aren't fully aware of what's going on. So, let's call it, just finding the right map here. Shira, would you be inside at the, or would you be wanting to co-pilot once again? Craig?
Greg,
Yeah, I'll have the weapon systems.
Okay. Let's see. I'm just going to set everybody in the corner here. The away team is assembled, and this is just where you guys would be for reference, but you are of course in the shuttle pod. So Justice is obviously back in the pilot seat and has arrayed the shuttle pod just a little ways back. Amid the preparation, everybody else has taken a phase pistol and is situated along the. Everybody's situated basically in a position near the what is it? Oh, everybody's in a seat, basically ready to go if need be. Going to rearrange the laser here. So, how is everybody trying to pass the time in the moments before the battle, or whatever struggle is about to ensue gets going? Anybody with some jitters?
Leighton's trying to deal with his jitters by just jury rigging and trying to reinforce the whole plating on the shuttle.
Gotcha.
Xantor is doing checking on his vitals every few minutes just to see if anything's elevated. Just like, oh no, that could be Bavarian flu. That wouldn't be good. Not right now.
Oh dear. Let's see. Yeah, for the others' parts, I'd say Fernier's got the usual foot tap going. The rest have what is it? Melnyuk is just keeping silent, keeping the phase pistol kind of on her lap, and probably has a decent grasp of it. Her suit mic is currently off so as to not pose too much of a disturbance. But let's see. Just as double checking sensors now. I'm starting to get some indeterminate signs. Could be bioelectric fields. Could be the life forms. Think we got company here.
Okay. Well,
Alright.
let's see what they've got in store for us.
Yeah. So I'm going to say that the you make out just vaguely from the targeting sensors signs that a something appears to be rounding a corner. There's not with your lights off. There isn't much to discern with it. They likewise seem to have turned their own off, but you, with the help of the sensors, make out just the basic bit of movement. I'm going to say that the mining laser is that advantage is tripped, and let's see. Let's say, give me a control engineering roll. I'm going to call this a difficulty of, roll anything from a 1 to a 3. Or better yet, you can roll that and then give me, we'll say, 4 challenge dice there.
Okay, hang on. So you only roll 4 challenge dice then?
Yes.
Could always spend a momentum to re-roll those 2 zeros.
Yeah, I'll spend momentum roll those 2 zeros.
Okay.
Ah,
Alright.
good old roll 20.
Yep. Can you give me that one more time there, Panda? There we go. Okay.
Oh, good
So-
rolls.
Yeah. The first wave of the squad begins to crest around the area, all in the same sort of bulky EV suit when the laser kicks up. Let's see what happens to the... Oh, that's the Raider sheet. I don't need them. I need the Marauders. Okay. So with your roll there, that was 2. Or rather 4. Like after the reroll plus an effect, so that's 5 points. I'm going to say that effect has the piercing 1 quality, so that ignores resistance. We're going to play this based on squad rules, so effectively each of them has 3 points of stress, and the damage gets divided among the entire squad. So the 5 points there, I'm going to say that that does affect each of the... I'll let it winnow the squad slightly. One of them does take a full set of points, and the EV suit breaches there, thus causing them to grasp at the rupture and try to fix it. Basically, the one on the furthest end here is not going to be in combat. They are dealt... they're considered as injured here. The third one is going to... Or rather, the one next to it is also going to take a bit of a shot, but will still be standing. And, yeah, the rest of them are going to try to engage with you. So you are now in combat again.
Yay!
As a reminder, first and foremost, you do get the first move in the initiative. And you do have 1 advantage in reserve, basically an irradiated heronium deposit that, if hit, would do serious damage. or like would add the area effect to whatever attack you make.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's shoot at one of these guys, I guess.
Okay. So using the shuttle pod's heavy cannons, or like plasma cannons, you want to make an attack.
Yeah, let's go for, I don't know, this guy. I don't like this guy.
Gotcha. I'll
So
call it Amos, Barry, and Charlie, and you hate Barry in particular.
yeah. Screw that guy. So it's what's it? Control security?
Yes. Difficulty of 2.
Difficulty of 2. I've got shipboard tactical systems as a focus. And I'll give you a threat for an extra dice.
The GM will take your threat.
And Shira will open up with the cannons.
All right. That is the 2 successes needed there, so you succeed at the task. Shira, you, actually, you also get a momentum back because our good friend Zyla OXO, that is to say, Caligo from the Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword game, has spent the Quatloos to
brings us
reduce the difficulty. So, they are very much...
6.
Yep. And Zyla, for context, they're definitely winning. They are bringing the cannons of a shuttle pod to bear on a meat assault here. So that's they're very much about to show how bad that goes.
Let me just do one thing. Yeah, thought so. That's the why is that lighting up as red? That's a 16.
The shuttle pod sheet is also kind of broken. You may ignore that. That is, for the audience there, that is a 16 on the die. That is not a natural complication. I'm going to see if I can fix this real quick.
Weird.
All right.
Anyway, so damage.
Yep.
What on earth do I...
Shira, go into your sheet.
Sheet, yep.
Yep, and just scroll to the bottom there.
Oh, hello. Oh, that's a nice little prize.
Yes. Do not let it be said I am not a kind GM.
I do not like, or I don't like those zeros.
We got plenty of stuff. Go ahead for it. Use them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Hold on. Challenge dice to 4, so I'll spend a momentum.
Okay, so that'll put you at 5 momentum.
And
Put us at 4. Put us at 4, or would we go up 1?
Well, you earned 1 because Zyla had decreased the difficulty.
Oh, right. You're right. Yeah.
Okay, and there's 4, so a lot.
Yep.
So 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11.
Yep.
And whatever intense does.
Intense, for every effect you score there, it increases the difficulty of a task to basically conduct first aid on them, which at 5 points, first and foremost, let's just remember the damage total there. That would be we're talking about 6 from the initial roll, then another 5 from the reroll, 11 points. I think that, bearing in mind that we were operating off squad rules, that well exceeds the stress track. So the shuttle pod is going to let loose with bursts from the cannon, and oh boy, is this is Sharon, this is taking a particle weapon and shooting boar worms in a barrel, basically.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no, all these poor pirates. Damn.
Yep.
Damn.
The cannons cut through with the greatest of ease, just mowing them down. Some get a few disruptor shots off. Not all of them. Virtually none of them land. Maybe one hits the shuttle pod, but only just barely lighting up the hull plating there. But yes, you just eviscerate through the plasma bolts, melting through the suits, in at least one case going straight through the face plating. This squad is dead. All of them just are completely eviscerated. Which that is,
easy.
yeah. I'm going to mark them with skulls just to
it's
indicate.
all in microgravity as well, so there's probably bits floating around.
Bits and chunks, and some of it is propelled quite a bit because the suits decompress and spray things over.
God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Honor of the Andorian Guard.
Yeah. Given how far you exceeded the stress track, and you used a ship weapon on people, that's lethal. I'm taking 4 points of threat. You killed the guy that wasn't even able to fight at this point. You just
It's valid.
Honestly, I think that's generous.
Yeah, there is no kill like overkill, but it's not the Starfleet way.
But we set the phase cannons to stun.
You ever fire a stun weapon at close range? Your Star Trek Undiscovered Country will tell you that still kills people. And if you say you're not quite at that close range, you ever shoot somebody with a ship weapon?
Hey, it's early days of Starfleet, okay? We're still learning sort of the morals and ethics of being in space.
Yep.
Shira, but I just shot them with a ship's cannon. Shira, that kills people.
I've had D&D games that are like, I use a fireball non-lethally. It's like, no, you can't do that.
How? The shockwave? No.
Well, Shira, as the targeting sensors tell you, there are no longer any life signs immediately in front of you, and that you have done your job very effectively there.
First wave dealt with.
Yep.
Roll for psychic damage. Roll for trauma.
Well, I'm going to ask... Well, first I'm going to let you know, Zyla is not finished spending those Quatlus. A player advantage has been bought for you. So you may reserve it if you like, or you can
Don't you
use
want her
something
for
right
that?
now.
It's entirely the wrong message.
It's perfectly fine. They were pirates. They deserve this.
Oh.
Well, maybe not exactly this, but yeah, there we go.
No, we mean this.
Isn't our captain a pirate former?
She pretended to be a pirate, Leighton.
Quite
she was,
you.
on like an undercover operation. She might have accidentally married a pirate during that time, but
We don't talk about the captain's pirate time.
Or maybe this is the cover operation.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, once again, for the shuttle pod crew, do you want to reserve that advantage, or is there anything you want to do right now?
I think my just as Xantar looks at them and I think my medical skills are a bit beyond to that, Commander.
Should we leave? Try to leave?
There's probably more coming.
they'll have more people on the ground, and they'll have left enough people to crew the ships. Just a question. Does Shira know roughly how many crew those raiders would likely have?
Each of them probably has a dozen officers and men, so they are
Talking about maybe about 50 total, somewhere around that.
Yep.
Um,
But there's always the possibility that, particularly if this is a pirate's den of some sort, that they could load in more.
can we use the player's advantage to make contact with the ship?
I'd
What
be
would
willing to
we-
allow that if you wanted to do that.
What would we be able to? What would we tell?
I mean, just at least we have real-time communication and we can coordinate better, as it were.
Would it be a would that be an ongoing communication, or would it just be a message or two?
Zach.
Oh, I think that I could give you some garbled, like a garbled two-way communication thing. I'd let it go that far if you wanted to. That is to say, it could still be jammed, but you could have some momentary, sustained communications, basically.
We could probably limit it so that it won't be noticed, but I can probably work something together.
I think that sounds like a good idea.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Just kind of like starts moving people.
Yep. Leighton, moves from the back of the pod and kind of in bulky spacesuit, just pressing his way
He's
through.
already bulky, he's already bulky himself.
You pushed Xantar completely out of the chat.
Oh no.
Okay, go back.
Yeah, and
Sorry about that. I
Xantar,
had to do something important.
Leighton's are also pretty huge himself. He's pretty stout, so he just he kind of squeezes between people. Excuse me.
What I don't like though is just seeing that spend for a GM complication.
Uh-huh. We'll get to that there.
But yeah, he'll start just rigging something up.
Okay, so with that, you get the communications function operational to where there's a boost to the comms line now. You may attempt you can try to reach out to the Aegis if you like, Shira.
This is away team to Aegis.
There's a moment and the line is still very staticky, but you can hear through it.
He kicks it. He kicks it and make it together.
It clears up a bit more. Shuttle pod, this is Aegis. This is Ensign Creighton. Commander, we are hearing you. Stand by. Captain to the bridge.
Crichton, we're holed up in a cavern. They're currently assaulting our position. We're using the shuttle to defend the entrance.
We read you. We are en route, sir. Yeah. At this point, Sharp, if you want to interject with anything, you can.
We're making way in, Commander. If you can when we reach optimum, we'll let you know at the optimum distance to make a break for it if need be.
Will do.
Let's at least get in transport range.
So far, they're only assaulting with people. So we'll
Any
see what more
casualties
they.
on your end?
No, we're all currently safe and well. But I expect them to be sending more people in soon, and they're not going to make the same mistake twice.
Well, send a message through the way we did through Terranova when we're ready.
Okay.
And as you try to say that last bit, or like, both on the Aegis and on the shuttle pod, you note that the comms line has now become increasingly garbled. Likewise, Shira, sensors also appear to be messing up a little bit. Commander,
Must be.
just
Are they likely jamming us?
I don't think so. I'm detecting other movement in the chamber, and there's some.
no.
Uh,
Cosmozoa?
you peer out the window and you see to your side the slight teal glow as something halts out of the pods. From the vague visual view that you can get, you see what appear to be some sort of almost squid-like or squid analog-like tentacled thing emerging from the tunnels. They are they are about a meter or so across, or like from the wider point of the, or like from the wider point, from one tentacle to another stretched out to the side, it would be about that. It'd be closer to the meter and a half, about the diameter of the tunnel. It's closer to just a meter along the main body, basically. They're a bit smaller than your shuttle pod, but they wouldn't fit inside it particularly well. They also appear to be bioluminescent, all of them giving off a sort of tealish, like, glow to them. As they emerge, they begin to float in the field, and their tentacles, like, loosen from the rocks, and they seem to move, like, contracting and extending a bit. As they do, they, despite the vacuum, seem to have some sort of influence that allows them to change position inside the cavern, suggesting a form of propulsion. As you look at this, though, Sharon, as they get more and more into the cavern, you realize that your sensors, just across the board, from Justice's navigational sensors, your targeting capabilities, all of that is becoming worse, as are the external communications.
I'll keep trying to speak through to the Aegis. The Cosmozoa are causing interference. They've just entered the cavern.
Damn it, I can't get through to them. We're losing the line here. I am going to say that is the last of the spends from Zyla taking effect, with the Quatlus to impose a complication, and that is to bring in the Cosmozoa that are now effectively, just by their presence, appear to emit some sort of natural EM jamming field.
Okay, guess we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way of just looking and shooting.
Yep. So as chunks of the last squad float about,
They can eat it, yeah.
they don't
Yeah.
they don't seem to be particularly inclined to do that.
Oh, good.
Yeah. As they float about, another 4 crest over.
Oh, they're already dead. They're already dead. Oh, that's good.
Hold on. Let the GM exercise great machine powers. They are...
No. The great machine says they're dead, so they're dead.
Really, the great machine doesn't care. Saral's busy elsewhere.
Oh, no.
He's having himself a time. Even though, in his state, he probably doesn't understand time quite the same way anymore.
Time should be on a 25-hour clock.
All right. So, yep, the squad has entered. Combat resumes, and yep, I'm going to say the turn order is not quite reset. So, Shira, if you were to act again, you would do so at increased difficulty. This would be more something for Justice or one of the other crew members to do. but I will allow your bunch to have the to take the initiative here.
Okay, guys, who wants to do something?
Can we use the shuttle again? I mean, that worked well last time, so
Can I? Can I use so the shuttle is facing in the direction of where the Nausicaans are running in, right?
Correct.
How high or how bright are our luminescence on the front of the shuttle?
I mean, the
You know what?
floodlights
No,
are.
never mind. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna quickly jury rig it to set it straight to the power system, and I'm gonna overload the luminescence so that way it becomes super super bright when we turn it on. And I'm gonna turn it
Ooh.
on.
Daring plus
Nice,
engineering,
nice.
and I am going to spend a point of threat to increase your complication range by 1.
And it is a dark cavern, so yeah, this is it could be quite blinding.
Yep. I'm going to call the difficulty on this 2, since this is basically another creating an advantage scenario.
Daring engineering, I'm going to say jury rigging or emergency repair.
Jury rigging would apply.
Yep, I'm gonna spend a momentum to get an extra die, if you don't mind there, Shira.
Yep.
And here we go.
4.
4 successes. So that will create the advantage. That will... I'm willing to say that makes their next attack more difficult, as, while the face plating can polarize a bit, it does... Yeah. I'll add... I'll add 2 difficulty to this next attack. It is...
Did we get momentum back from that?
Oh yes, you do earn 2 points of momentum back, so that should refill you to 6 points.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I also increase your complication range by 1?
I would say it's one or the other. Unless you want to spend momentum to... You could spend momentum to increase their complication range.
Yeah, we get a full 6. Let's just use 2 more momentum to cause them an expanded complication range with this. As it's so blinding, I'm trying to burn out the retinas.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I think that for opposed difficulty tasks, it would be like this would still be a point of momentum to increase their complication range by 1, 2 points basically on the same escalating track.
Okay.
Or, well, actually, wait, it would be... I'm sorry, the GM is now trying to recall the exact rationale there.
I'm having fun. How's everybody else doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Shooting things with space weapons is best.
yeah, doing good.
Yeah.
Blowing people to chunks.
Yeah, he just
He was on vacation. This is wonderful.
he stumbles up front, squeezing himself between the two, between Chief and the commander, and says, "Oh, excuse me," and just kind of just rips open the console, takes the power system cores from one place, puts it in another, and closes it and slams the console. Turn the lights.
Yeah. So, let's see. I will at least allow this to... so, the task itself, that's going to increase the difficulty on their next attack by 2.
Yeah.
Since they are somewhat blinded. As I'm still going through to double check exactly how what the costs would be in terms of the opposed.
Overall, I just want to cause potential for friendly fire.
Of course. Yeah. And that's very bad news under their current circumstances. So let's see here. All right. Okay, so they're going to take the next effort here. I think that, well, to start with, I'm going to spend threat. I will drop 2 points to unlock escalation here. And the squad is going to spend a further point of threat so that they can gain an additional d20. Because this is a squad, they are already using 3 dice here. This allows them a 4th one. I'm going to say that with the advantage or the complication imposed, I'm going to you spend 2 momentum, so I'll make that an increase complication range of 1. Bless you. So let's see. So that'll be complication range 2 overall, and a difficulty 4 control plus security task for them to make this attack. So they are going to roll. That is 3 successes, so that is...
that momentum spend came in good because that was a 19 there. Which...
Yep.
Oh.
Yep, just verifying there. 19 on the die. Oh, let's see.
Some friendly fire.
Oh, not quite. I'll kind of allow for that. As the Nausians try to coordinate, most of their shots are going to go wild. One of them is going to fire and one of them is going to be so badly misangled they fire into a wall. But you realize they're not firing disruptor pistol, or they're not firing their disruptor rifles. They appear to have some sort of heavy pulse weaponry, which means that they effectively have demolition weapons or something heavy enough that could damage the shuttle pod. So
that's not good.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and roll damage for that here. Let's just... Sorry, just finding the correct sheet with the information that I need. There you go. So we'll see if any area damage comes into play. That would get added by the... Okay, so 2 points of stress affect the squad. One of them maybe gets slight blowback from like rocks spraying them.
I'm gonna spend 1 momentum to reroll those zeros.
Gotcha.
If that's fine with people.
Yeah.
Right. So that's 3 points of stress distributed among the squad. I'll say maybe, I'll play it the same way I did and just allow one member of the squad to take an addition, or basically get sufficiently blasted by shrapnel from the rock that they are incapacitated. So, turn order goes back to you guys now.
Okay. So, just to be clear, it's not start of a new round yet, so...
Yeah, I'm allowing everybody who's a player in this scene to be able to do stuff, so that's...
Yeah,
Shira's acted. Yep.
Yeah.
If you would like, technically Chief Justice is a supporting character, so Felix or Cheesy, if either one of you want to jump in with them right now, then I could give justice to you guys if you'd like.
You're just spreading justice around.
Cheesy, do you want to?
I'd be down.
All right.
Go for it.
You can play Chief Willie D. Justice, our ship's helmsman. He's in the supporting characters tab. Or should be.
I'll play the tentacle monsters.
Oh, God.
That's so fitting.
Yep. So, Justice, you are at the. First off, I'll just go ahead and first off make sure everybody sees him one more time because Justice is just he's the best.
Oh, beautiful.
He's a wonderful dude. He's cool, perpetually wearing aviators. He's your eye in the sky, and in this case, your shuttle pilot. So yeah, you're at basically the piloting console. You have navigation controls. You could do basically anything from the shuttlecraft that you wish. That would include using weapons. That could include using the thrusters, sensors, communications, anything like that. What would you want to try?
I'm going to try and expand the sensors to try and get them a better shot.
Okay, so let's call this a... I'm trying to think here. I think in this case, I would give you a... let's see. Definitely a... I think this would definitely be a reason roll because you are trying to retune the sensors and try to make your way through some of this... or try to compensate for some of the interference. What I'm just struggling with would be the discipline there. I think that since you're dealing with the phenomena in question, or like from these creatures, it is technically science. Now, I could be persuaded to do engineering too.
Like, even though my science is the lowest, it makes a lot more sense.
It does.
It doesn't feel right doing engineering
Fair enough.
because I got to get through the phenomena.
Yeah.
Will I get my sensor operation focus?
You do.
Alright. Let's see what I can do.
Okay, I'm going to say that a single success is not quite enough to screen through the interference. These creatures have some very strange bioelectric field that is just making it very difficult for you to get a read on the situation.
You know, it's really hard to get through these space squids.
Oh dear. Chief Justice is going through his backwoods Appalachian phase. Spectacular.
Where all the cool people are.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Shira, much to your disappointment, the interference is persisting right now because you just have not dealt with life forms like these before, and as a result, it is making things very, very untenable.
Don't worry, I'll handle it.
Okay. So, let's see. Taking a look here. I think at this point the turn order would actually reset. So the squad acts as a unit, so they can actually only perform one proper task per turn. So yeah, it resets. You guys do get to start off. Shira, would you want to do anything, or would you want any of the other players to act?
Does anyone...
I guess
I think Shira would like to open fire again, but does anyone have anything else they'd like to try?
Yeah.
Before Shira generates another 4th thread.
Yeah.
Technically, I realized I skipped over you there, Pete. I'm sorry about that.
Nah, it's all good.
Yeah. Xantar doesn't have a lot to do at the moment.
He doesn't have a target, and he's like, "Yep, no, I'm happy to stay in the shuttle."
Okay, right. So I think Shira will commit another war crime. Then. So.
I would recommend, like, out of character, I would recommend maybe like shooting in front of him, so kicking up a whole bunch of freaking dirt and just shooing them away, more or less.
I think that shooting at them will have a better effect.
Okay.
Go
I
on,
know they have
justify
a-
yourself.
I think shooting our enemies
given.
will. I think shooting at our enemies will kill our enemies, and that is good.
It's a nice, straightforward way of thinking here. Okay.
Andorian Doctrine 101.
Just imagining that they're Vulcans. Okay. So yes,
Who are our allies?
we don't speak about that. Yes. So focus, shipboard tactical systems. I'll give you another point of threat for an extra dice. It's control security, yes.
Correct.
Correct. Cool. Okay. What difficulty is it, by the way? Because obviously
yes.
the targeting systems are a bit fluffy.
Because of the natural interference by these Cosmozoa, the difficulty has also been increased by 2. So it is a total of 4.
Interesting. I don't suppose using the aim action would work here, would it?
Believe it or not, well,
Because it's usually to do with handheld weapons, rather. But if the targeting systems are jumbled and I'm having to basically
eyeball it.
Does aiming now count here?
You know, that sounds really dumb, and I'm going to let you do it.
Okay, all right. So I will.
You plot
aim.
it for there's a smudge of, like, frozen Nausicaan blood from the first squad that has smeared on the hull, and you're pretty sure that smear is exactly where most of the points land, or within, you'd say, a meter or so of that, so... yeah.
Lovely. Okay. In that.
This is so
Sorry,
dumb.
because obviously I've got Deadeye Marksman. So if I use the aim minor action, that reduces the difficulty in the next attack by 1. Does this count towards it? Oh yeah, if I think this is taking a bit of the mick, then that's fine if it does.
This is such an abuse of it, but yes, it does.
Okay, so it's down to difficulty 3. Okay, good. All right,
and today we learn why the Federation will have a war crime section.
Shira's holding the shuttle like a rifle somehow.
I'm going to use. Well, let's first off, aim. I can re-roll.
Yes.
One of those. So aim will re-roll one of those.
Yes, you score 2 successes on that initial roll.
Oh god, this is not behaving entirely well, is it? God, oh dear. Yeah, 16, 16, 17. Oof. Well, I've also got bold security, which
allows you to
re-roll. How many do I re-roll there? Is it just a single D20 again?
Oh, let me just triple check that, because I have seen some groups treat it as a single D20. I have seen others treat it as the entire personal pool. I'm going to go off what is most up to date in the book today, which, since we have it around, or rather, the folks over at Modiphius were kind enough to give me a free Roll20 version. I am looking it through. It was nice from their tabletop streams. I had 1A drawing with them.
Nice.
Nice.
So, let's see. You may re-roll a single d20 in this case.
Okay. Reroll a single d20. There we go. That's more like it.
There's the murder. Okay.
So that's 4 successes at difficulty 3, so I get 1 momentum back.
Yep.
And then it is the happy fun time of the damage roll.
Oh.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 is that?
That is 9 stress right there.
How much stress did I need to kill them?
Pretty much that.
Yeah. Okay. I won't re-roll those 3 then.
Okay. Yep. Cannons. The cannons fire. The squad is disintegrated before your eyes, just being like completely eviscerated, partially vaporized. The GM takes another 4 points of threat for each death.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. How about an advantage? We've just eviscerated the first 2 squads in 2 hails of cannon fire, and now there's chunks of them floating around the entrance, probably beginning to gently float out of the entrance. Anyone coming up behind them is going to see this. I want them to be not wanting to go in here, into this cavern. That they're either very afraid of now entering this cavern or on the verge of saying, no, we're not going in there. Find someone else.
I will let that. I think that with as many deaths as you have affected in such a quick time frame, I think that impulse will be the natural one for any squads that might be behind them, and I think that will. With that, with what you've done here, Shira, such that you can see anything through the sensors, there are no signs anyone else is approaching just yet. Justice will say, hopefully this'll scare him off or cause him to think twice before sending any more people in.
Okay, so that was creating an advantage there, so...
That'd be 2 points of momentum then.
Delete 2 momentum for that.
Yep.
Cool.
Plus counting for the one that was dropped earlier. So, yeah, that'd bring... So, running total has you at 3 points to 13 threat. And I think that, Shira, with that, you'd recognize that, the delay between assaults now suggests that maybe, just maybe, you've gained a temporary tactical advantage, but as your guard training tells you, if they do come back, they may well be better prepared, or the operation you've undertaken here is going to shape what comes next, and perhaps what comes next in the space outside as Aegis races to come and rescue you. That being said, I think that is where we will leave off for today's session. So, for those of you joining us in the archive, we hope that you enjoyed and particularly got the catharsis of very dumb use of a shuttle pod, but also very brilliant use of a shuttle pod. Basically, Shira's
not as I
therapy session.
expected.
Oh shit! That's
Is it dumb if it works though?
Yes.
the amount of momentum
Alright.
the GM's
Believe-
taken.
I believe the threat is stupid like a fox. In any case, we hope that you enjoy this. This will be the last direct Aegis session for a little while, but keep your eyes peeled as we should have something special on the channel, at least once during the next couple weeks. So we will go ahead and get that out to you as soon as we can get that. Just keep an eye for next weekend and keep up to date on our other streams. But if you want to join us live, we run these, of course, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which for this, we will be back in a few weeks. We also have the Broken Sword adventure that airs on Tuesdays, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and that should be going regularly for the time being. So, with that, I will bid you all farewell. Have a good rest of your day.